Looking inside, pretty much all the sheetrock is complete with the exception of right at the entrance to the church. I'll look at that in just a second. This is walking in from the church, looking towards the west, towards the altar. You can see on the left side here, the cornerstones for the original 1906 church. This church was just built in 72 and then the remodel in 2025. This section of brick will be the only visible sections of the original brick in the church when we're completed. Off to the west, or to the left, excuse me, is the air handler room. New air handler is in place. All the ductwork is done. They actually ran fans on the unit for the first time on yesterday. And next week we're going to be doing airflow checks and making sure we've got the airflows and everything that we need. Turning towards the right or to the north, we walk over here. The family restroom is here. You can see all the sheetrock is in place. And the family restroom is here. Again, it will have an adult size changing. So looking inside, pretty much all the sheetrock is complete with the exception of right at the entrance to the church. I'll look at that in just a second. This is walking in from the church, looking towards the west, towards the altar. You can see on the left side here, the cornerstones for the original 1906 church. This church was just built in 72 and then the remodel in 2025. This section of brick will be the only visible sections of the original brick in the church when we're completed. Off to the west, or to the left, excuse me, is the air handler room. New air handler is in place. All the ductwork is done. They actually ran fans on the unit for the first time on yesterday. And next week we're going to be doing airflow checks and making sure we've got the airflows and everything that we need. Turning towards the right or to the north, we walk over here. The family restroom is here. You can see all the sheetrock is in place. And the family restroom is here. Again, it will have an adult size changing table in it as well as normal restroom facilities. I'm looking back towards the entrance of the church. These are the temporary walls. So we're separating the church from the narthex. The work here won't really get completed until towards the end of April. So at the end of April, we plan on removing these temporary walls and opening this up to the church at that time. Looking back towards the west, we're walking in. This framing right here will be where the main entrance doors are to the church. So that family restroom will actually open out to the narthex. Walking further west, where the cones are is where the baptismal font will be. And up above that, we've got a bulkhead that surrounds that will have uplighting in it. And there will be a mural up in that bulkhead area that's lit from below. So this will be where the baptismal font will be. Walking on in, we get to the back of the nave right here. Progress in here, all of the stone on the walls is done. It's currently covered with plastic because of painting, but all the internal stone is complete. The clear story painting is complete. We're looking up towards the west, towards the cupola and the altar area. You can see the detail of the ceiling painting and stuff. Still need to put the lights up in this area, but everything else is pretty well done. The gray trim that you see here is fiberglass trim. It will still needs to be painted as well. It'll be painted in the golden yellowish colors to match the rest of this. Walking over towards the north side of the nave, the ceiling is done here and has been painted. They are working on installing the permanent lighting in place. Some of that's in place already, and they're working on getting that done as well. You can see the recessed areas here. This is where the air will be distributed out from the air handler to supply the heating and cooling to the space. And there are also, if you look on the walls over below the windows, there are fin tube radiators there to provide perimeter heat around the building. The south side of the church is very similar. If you look in the floor here, we're cutting grooves. This is for antenna. There's wiring in here. that will be hooked to our sound system, so people with hearing aids can sync their hearing aids to the sound system and be able to hear Father during Mass and that type of thing. Turning around back to the east, the drywall is all done here in the usher's room and confessional and mother's room. Not much else has happened here. They have not finished drywall back here. They'll be moving back here to finish drywall now that the nave is complete. You see different access panels in the ceiling. These are access panels to get at equipment so we can do maintenance and things on the equipment. The south side of the church is pretty much identical to the north side. They're installing the cables in the floor for the hearing system. Windows are in place. The ceiling is painted here. They haven't done any lights on this side yet. Back side of the church, more access panels in the ceiling, and the blue area here is return air for the air handler that takes the return air out of the system so we can get airflow through the entire church. We're walking up towards the altar area again. I'll get into the middle of the nave. You see a little better view of the cupola. We'll look at that a little closer in a second. Turning back to the east, the round window, the stained glass window is in fabrication right now. At this point, we expect it to be here in mid-May. That's the plan right now, so that will go in before we open the church. Walking towards the altar, they've poured the second section of risers here. So there's a wooden reredos wall that will go around the joint between the stone and the yellow painted area here. Inside that wall will be the speakers for the sound system, and at the top of that will be speakers for the organ. There will also be speakers in the little square area in the drywall over here, and same over there, additional speakers for the organ. There are actually 9 different speakers for the organ to provide sound to the system, and we did purchase a new organ. The older organ was getting obsolete. We couldn't get parts for it. Painting on the south side is done as well. For the most part in the nave. They'll be putting the diffusers in and final detail painting here in the next couple weeks. Murals go in. The St. Francis and St. Cecilia murals go in the little arched openings here, and there's a large mural behind the reredos wall. Those are complete and they're being shipped to us for installation probably in May. At this point, we expect the vendor to come and put the altar in, all the marble items, the altar, the baptismal font, and the ambo and altar of repose. All that stuff will go in May, as well as all the wood reredos wall, the wood devotionals, and the pews will all be going in during the month of May. Over here on the left of the altar to the south of the altar, we have some pallets here. This is the floor tile and the grout. Floor tile was delivered here, and they're going to start on floor tile next week. Expect floor tile to take about 8 weeks to complete in the entire church. It's a fairly detailed process, a fair amount of work involved, so that will be going on for the next 8 weeks. Walking through on the south side of the altar here, this is the main entrance for the for a handicapped accessible entrance here, right here. Door coming in, people can go right into the church right here. When they come in this door, they can go through out to the church, or they come back in here. There is a restroom back here, an ADA accessible restroom. Can't really see very well in here, but it's kind of dark. And then an area here for storage of supplies and things like that. Walking behind the altar here, we've got a storage room. This is a storage room for just various storage. Right now, contractors use it for storage. A lot of our wood trim, and looks like this is all of the diffusers that go into the ceiling for the air supply that are in here right now. This area will be putting shelving in and be able to use for different parish storage areas. Walking back out in the corridor behind the altar, there's a ramp up, so people in a handicapped, folks in a wheelchair or needing assistance can come up this ramp. There'll be railings here as well, and can come up and enter through a door here to get out onto the altar. We'll look at that a little closer later. Turning back to the west, this is the sacristy. It's pretty much all sheetrock is in place. They haven't finished any sheetrock here yet. There'll be cabinets and different storage units along this south wall to provide all the supplies and things that we need for the sacristy. The sound system, we're reusing the old sound system, just new speakers. It will sit in this corner. The conduits here in place to get all the cabling and stuff necessary for the sound system to operate. Walking back out to the corridor, to the north of that is a mechanical mezzanine. We'll take a quick look upstairs. This area has a limited amount of storage, but has two different air handlers that serve the north and south side of the sanctuary. So the main air handler only serves the nave, the seating area. These two units here will serve the north and south sides, so the choir area and the entrance area and the altar area. We'll head back downstairs. This area on the north side of the sanctuary area is a room for choir storage. It will have shelving and cabinets, whatever we need to store the choir music and microphones, instruments, music stands, all that type of stuff. There is a power panel in here that will serve power to most everything in the new church. The choir area will sit right here. There's the altar will sit adjacent to the sanctuary area, facing the congregation. The piano will sit to the north of that, and the choir will sit behind that again. Here's one of the air diffusers going in there. So he's putting those in now, and then this recessed area around this also gets painted the gold color to match. I'm going to step up onto the altar platform here. I'm going to look up and look up into the cupola. Cupola work is complete. The details have all been painted. There's some lighting in there, windows, and some heating up there as well to prevent condensation on the windows. And we'll look coming down here, standing at the altar, about where Father will stand at the altar. You can kind of get a view of the entire church from here. It's a nice view, very bright in here. We don't have lighting on yet, but you can see how bright it is in here with the clerestory windows and the windows in the wall. There are a couple of rails on the sides of the altar here that will go in. There's not steps all the way around the altar like there used to be at the original altar, so there are a couple altar rails, kind of like a communion rail, but not on each side, that are made of wood and be installed with the rest of the wood material. And there'll be steps up to the altar here with handrails for people who need assistance getting up the steps. So we're in the final throes. Like I said, we expect tile to start tomorrow or Monday, next Monday. It will take 8 weeks to do the tile. So that really puts us towards the end of May, or end of April, excuse me, for our first week of May. We need about 2 weeks after the tile set before we can really get on it and do the wood and the other things. So that stuff will happen a couple weeks later. Right now, the current schedule shows the church being pretty much complete. The contractors' work complete by early June. after which we would get a temporary occupancy permit from the city of Ames. That would allow us into the church. So we plan on a team of volunteers to help move things into the church, hang the Stations of the Cross, other stuff that we need to get into the church, and get the new organ in and commissioned. And then the final transition will happen in July when we move the sound system in here and move the final things over into the church in preparation for a dedication mass on July 24th. So we're getting closer. We got a ways to go, but you can kind of see the finished product here. And I'll probably do another video here in about a month. Thank you all.